Well, it done happened. Your boy's 1 year older, 1 year, I wouldn't say wiser, but I guess so. To keep it very much a stack, I have literally nothing planned for this video. Literally, I have nothing completely just straight. Like, I'm basically the father that came back to their kid, except I didn't go to the grocery store and get the milk, or at least if I did, I completely forgot that. All right, that's ultimately what you're getting out of me today, right? Basically, the most candid version of myself that I possibly can be without necessarily being overbearing, I would say, or at least try not to, right? So essentially, if you are in for those videos that, you like to hear me yap for 5,000 seconds and, we kind of just discuss random things and random topics, I suppose, that really just me rambling, but still ultimately makes sense, then this is the video for you. If you don't like these sort of videos, then just bear with me for today. And we'll kind of deal with the regular stuff later, but today's the special occasion, obviously, because I'm now 24 years old, which is, part of me is like, yay, birthday time, heck yeah, let's get it, but at the very same time, damn, I am old. I am getting old, and makes me really think about a lot of things just in general and in life, and I guess again that's kind of what I want to talk about today. So I guess it's kind of like a, one of those life update videos where I kind of just yap about things, kind of reaffirm my stance on certain things and just kind of yap away. So again, if it's something you want to listen to and, you just want to, I guess, care about, then that's perfectly fine. Probably gonna put some Genshin in the background or something, because why the heck not? But anyway, first of all, let me just straight up ask, even though it is, my birthday and all that type of stuff, let me ask you this. How was y'all's day? Like, literally, when I asked y'all this, for sure, I don't mean to just ask and then, oh, it's just a throwaway question. I actually mean that, because some people do go into the comments. I do read those comments, and sometimes I do respond. But when it comes down to it, how is y'all's day? How is y'all life going? Hopefully, everything is going good. I know there's going to be struggling times. I know there's going to be nonsense every 5 seconds possibly going on. But at the same time, I still hope you find some enjoyment in life, honestly. Like, if I'm being super real, that's like one of the main things I always really hope out of my audience, is that you're doing better and, you're obviously having what you need throughout the days and just throughout life in general, right? Because there ain't no point of having, I guess, like, faking it, or at least in a way where it's like, just letting it keep bugging you without saying anything. It's important to kind of let that stuff out from time to time, and I just really hope that your day and pretty much every other day has been going fine. For me personally, for this birthday at least, it's been okay. It isn't the craziest birthday I ever had, but it's pretty okay. For starters, I did get Taco Bell, which was one of the things I actually been wanting to get for a long ass time since I was a kid, because the last time I had Taco Bell was since elementary school, middle school maybe. So it's been over a decade, I'll say that much, right? So to keep it very much a stack, I hadn't had Taco Bell in a long ass time. It was not as good as I remembered, unfortunately, right? I had like the best thing that I had out of the, I guess, the Lux Box thing, Supreme thing that you can get, was I had like a hard taco shell, like whatever thingy. Then I had like a chicken chalupa, and then, like a 3 meat or beef bean burrito or something like that. Which, I'm not gonna lie, everything didn't taste that great. The best, and quote unquote best, food that I had was the chicken chalupa, which really the bread was good, and that was really about it, essentially, right? It was not worth the $21 that that went into that meal that I just had. It was kind of ass. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. That being said, that Baja Blast, hey, that shit was blasting. I'm not gonna sit here and cap. Like, it's been a minute since I had a Baja Blast. It did the job. It did the job. I got like a little bit left, but it's done the job though. But essentially, I'm not going back to talk about it anytime soon. I was actually gonna try to get the Crunch Wrap and the Nacho, but then the price was like way too much that I thought it was, and I was just like, okay, yep. we'll stick with this because that's death if you're asking for all that other stuff. But it did fill me up, so I guess I'll get to talk about that. Usually Taco Bell doesn't fill me up worth anything the last couple times I had it 10 years ago. So, you know, it kind of is what it is. But it doesn't taste as magical as it used to, which is a bit of a shame. I thought this shit would taste magical, but it didn't. And I guess I lost that taste as, you know, time going on as I grew into an adult, or Taco Bell just became too corporate and, you know, kind of tastes like trash. Even the cheese for the nachos did not taste that good. And the nachos was pretty flat as hell. And I'm not going to sit here and lie. That was kind of ass on that part though, right? But yeah, that's really, so far, all I can say that been all right for this day. You know, that it hasn't been a crazy day or anything like that. It hasn't been anything wild. It's been mostly basically every other day outside of just getting Taco Bell for the day, and that's just how it is. But I ain't mad at it, right? Because obviously I'm not really sitting here expecting something crazy. I wasn't sitting here expecting anything wild and wacky and all that sort of stuff. But I appreciate for what this day is, you know. It just kind of is what it is, you know. But and I guess that leads into like the next topic I want to talk about, which is obviously my age, or at least the things about my age. And when it comes down to it, it's more like on the level of, with the 24 years I have now been on this earth and, you know, essentially existed, there's not a lot I've done. There's not a lot I have done throughout the years of my life. And for anybody that's wondering, how come every time you have your birthday come around, why do you view it as negative? I view it as negative because I don't feel like I've done anything. And I know that might sound, you know, a little over dramatic, but at the very same time, it feels like I haven't done much. Now, granted, I will say, you know, having 4,000 subscribers is amazing, especially for someone of my own caliber that has never done something like this before. It is amazing because, let's be honest, the casual person probably is not going to meet 4,000 people in a lifetime, right? So the fact that 4,000 of you guys are here and you're all different people, it's kind of crazy to really sit here and think about, right? And it is just like it's just a really cool experience to see different people from different places. Because I've seen, you know, obviously we got our United States people, we got some, you know, United Kingdom, we got some people from the Philippines at times, some Canadian people as well. You know, there's a fair amount of people from all across the world that watch, or at least come through sometimes and watch me, which is like a what the hell sort of situation, because in reality, I'm kind of like the last person you would think would have that much attention. Even if it's just this little amount, it's still attention I didn't think was possible, right? I still remember the days of having 53 subs, even less than that, starting out with just 15 subs because it was just people I knew online at that point. And it was just like a what the hell do I do sort of situation here, you know? And I was just basically throwing things at the wall, seeing what sticks, going through tons of terrible life things and all that sort of stuff at times, and it was just rough. It was definitely rough. So to come from all of that to, you know, still be doing this 5.5 years later, it's pretty damn impressive, right? But at the very same time, in the grand scheme of just life in general, it doesn't really feel like I have done really much of anything, which is kind of annoying. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Like, yeah, sure, I have, you know, again, done a lot of this stuff and whatever, but I haven't hit a super hard goalpost. The only thing I guess I can really sit here and say that is a little surprising is whenever like a big VTuber or a big creator or artist or whatever kind of comes through, see what I have talked about or have done, and then essentially responded back to me in some shape and form. And that's the really cool moments. Like, you know, obviously Rima, when she came through and saw that one video of me just complaining, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Then there was like the whole fact that D-Art follows me on Twitter, which is crazy as hell. It's still, I don't believe it, but it's just a real thing that has happened. Talked to, you know, Godoy, that other artist, and actually got to do a question and answer with him at that one point in time, and that was insanely cool. you know, just really trying to, I guess my method, really, I would say a lot of the artist appreciation stuff has been really cool because I got to, you know, talk to big and small creators, hardly the bigger ones, and, you know, more so befriending smaller creators. But at the very same time, it's just a really neat experience. And plus, I'm kind of doing something that hasn't been done on YouTube before, talking about NSFW artists and, you know, looking through their work and seeing who has skill here, what's unique, and all that sort of stuff, which is something that I've been, you know, thinking about for a while and just wanted to do, and it was like, yeah, sure, why not? I'm bored. I got nothing else to talk about, so why the hell not? Plus, you know, it would be nice if, you know, we could just bring up some newer people, maybe people that really is talented that no one has heard of before, and then while also glazing up the, you know, artists that is really damn good at what they do. Right? Now, granted, I'll be honest, that whole plan came up with me just basically being like, if I can just grow because of this, though, or if there is, and now, granted, I understand this ain't going to be the case, and I already know this, but there was a point in time where I was like, imagine if I got some art out of this, though. But, you know, that just, you know, wishful thinking, obviously. But still, I don't regret just, you know, obviously helping out smaller artists or talking about bigger ones as well that's out there. There's still plenty I haven't done. But, you know, it is sort of what it is when it comes down to it. There's still artists, though, I'm not going to lie, I still want the attention of, or at least get to really chat to for a minute, you know? Like, someone like Zone is still somebody I still want to yap to at some point in time, you know, in some shape and form. Even if it's just a, you know, if I had to just lend my voice for, like, I don't know, like a ZTV or something like that, that would be amazing. That would be dope as hell, right? Don't know how possible that would be, but it will be cool. But, you know, that is just like one of the goals, I would say, that I want to see happen at some point in time. And again, you get people like a Dives that is really damn cool. Would like to, you know, at some point see, if just in general, see him draw like one of my girls, if that's the case, you know, or have someone like, I don't know, D-Art kind of come out the cut, do something crazy or something like that. Just basically just, I guess, kind of be around people and not trying to get like, you know, free art or whatever, but it's like, just be around, just kind of, you know, show that, hey, would you like to do this sort of thing if you want to, and all that sort of stuff. Just to kind of just have that moment of that, yeah, this is dope as hell, and all that sort of stuff. Because the only person I had that moment with, and I don't want to say the only person, but the one that I feel like that really stood out hard for me was easily when I did the art trade with, you know, Junior, and him drawing Konako with the fat ass with my name on the ass cheeks of that. That was still amazing. Still one of my favorite pictures of all time. Then, you know, had an art trade with Stario where they had drew Shoko at one point in time. They also, I think there's also like, you know, Ifisha, who drew both Shion and Blue, and still I have both of those pictures and they both are amazing. Actually, I had some of the work in progress stuff too. It just, and really I think some other stuff as well she drew of my characters. And again, it just cool. Those sort of moments like that is just really cool. And it's like, those are the moments where I kind of sit here and I'm like, this is kind of worth doing. I'm not gonna lie, because there's obviously been multiple times where I thought maybe I should just quit because this is just taking way too long to get to where I actually want to go. But then something random would happen, which I wasn't expecting, and then ends up being a really good time, right? Like, for example, with one of the Genshin videos previously, I actually was going to think maybe I should hold off on the Genshin content because, you know, not a lot of you guys care for that, and I'll probably just stop it and just, you know, if something big happens, I'll talk about it. If something big doesn't happen, you know, and all that sort of stuff, whatever. Basically, just limit how much I talk about it. But then there's a whole nother VTuber I've seen before, and I never really said anything about, but there's this whole like Anubis VTuber called Lapis, I want to say, that's out there. And she said she'd been watching my content for like over maybe like a month or 2 months now. And that shit was wild to me to hear that. I was like, I've seen you on TikTok. The hell you mean you watched me? And I was genuinely confused by that. And I was like, that was just like, it caught me off guard and a surprise. And it was a pleasant surprise, I won't lie. So, and then that was kind of the reason why I was like, damn, okay, I guess I will continue to talk about Genshin content at times, right? And just whatever content I just really feel like doing so. And I know a lot of y'all have said before, you know, just make the content that you want to make and we'll be alright. And all that sort of stuff. But I still, you know, try to do other things, much less kind of stick with the things that work, because unfortunately YouTube does not like people being creative, which is why my watch hours recently kind of been ass, because it only been stuck to the 3 to the 4,000s recently, which isn't good, right? And it just kind of isn't really clicking as hard recently for whatever reason, you know. So it's a bit cheesy, and that's why sometimes you'll get videos that are rants. Sometimes you get videos that aren't really that edited at all, like this one at times. And sometimes it's just not necessarily anything that's like worth writing home about in terms of like the editing and stuff like that in that videos, because it's just me ranting about, oh, this situation sucks, I hate it, and all this sort of stuff. While, don't get me wrong, it's easy to do those videos, but I don't want to just lose the fact of, you know, I could edit this too, you know. And that's why I kind of sit here and just like, if it's like a special occasion of a video, I'll probably like sit here and edit. But if I know I'm gonna rant or ramble a bit, then I probably won't. And that's just kind of how it is for a lot of it, right? And in some videos I will sit here and do the gameplay stuff in the background, but at the very same time I will still, you know, give some edits here and there, and that's just kind of how it is. But ultimately it just kind of is what it is. Then I'm not gonna lie, for like since the end of February too, throughout this entire month of keeping this damn upload streak, which I reached the goal, by the way. We reached the goal because my goal was essentially, all right, now that this is a streak, I want to, you know, basically upload from February 28th to all the way to my birthday, not missing a single day. And guess what? We have not missed a single day. So that's a personal goal that I didn't think I could do. Back then when I was trying to do something like this for 15 days, I couldn't do it. I was losing my mind at this. And still very much this time around, I was losing my mind, but not nearly as bad, right? I at least found something to talk about, even if it was nothing. Even through struggling ass times, like my brother actually, you know, went to the hospital like some weeks ago, and essentially trying to upload throughout all that was hell to do, but I somehow did it. Even if it's not the best quality video ever, it's still something that, you know, you got to at least watch or deal with or whatever. And that's just essentially how it was, you know. So I'm proud that I was able to keep up that streak. Will I drop that streak? Maybe. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of want to take a break. At least a 1 day break, kind of just, you know, reset everything, kind of just chill and just not do much. But, you know, we'll see how that kind of goes, you know. But yeah, there's a lot when it comes down to this channel, and really a lot of this channel has to do with me being stubborn, and has to do with me not wanting to just throw in the towel at this point. Because I'm not gonna lie, ever since I kind of didn't pass, I won't even say kinda, I just straight up didn't pass college, I'm not gonna lie, this has been everything to me. Genuinely, this has been all the time I have put into essentially everything, right? I wouldn't say I'm full-time, because there's been times where I had to do other things, but at the same time I kind of had this as the only thing I've been doing for the past 5.5 years. So but I wouldn't say it's full-time. And the reason why I wouldn't say that either is also because I haven't really been getting money off of this that hard. You know, I feel like if somebody said they go full-time, they're making decent money, they can live, they can, you know, pay the bills and all that sort of stuff, and they'll be all right. I'm only taking home, really, I'll be completely honest, I'm only taking home like $100, maybe $120 each month, and then, you know, splitting that off with my mother so she can pay the bills. I'm not really getting a lot. I'm getting like 40, maybe 50 at max, you know, when it comes down to any of the money I have gotten. I have not taken a full check for myself and just did whatever the hell I wanted to with it. That's just how it is. But ultimately, you know, it's just like, it's not a lot. which is why sometimes I will ask for, Ko-Fi or, things from Throne Gift or stuff like that, because when you guys do send anything, that does genuinely help a lot. So we can still keep the lights on and things of sort like that, so you can still get videos and things like that and whatever. I know, incredibly irresponsible. I understand that, but it's been helping for 5 years. God has not let me down yet, and I'm just hoping that, it'll still continue on and we can still, create more and get more attention and more people and more things, so we can just continue to go in the ways that we need to with all this, So that's just kind of how that goes when it comes down to it, right? Again, when it comes down to this channel, especially when it comes down to you guys definitely come here, I would say, probably for the authentic, I guess, like reactions to certain things in terms of what we talk about, and keeping things honest and 100 if we're going to be real. And then at the very same time, when it comes down to it, I also appreciate the support that you have given me over the years. I do appreciate, a lot of the financial aid at times when you do something with that, and it's not just because of that, obviously, but it's because really, and as I said before, like a long time ago, this is dead ass like the only safe space I have. Which is crazy, because I'm just voicing my weird ass opinions and clappability of different characters and all that sort of stuff out in the open public where anybody can sit here and listen to. But at the very same time, it's like the safe space for me. Because for a long time, even in the house that I currently reside in, I'm not gonna lie, these four walls, my opinion a lot of the time doesn't feel like it matters a lot. It just doesn't. And so when I get the chance to come back in this shitty ass room with this laundry right here, with this washer and this dryer back here, this is like a safe space for me, which is not the funnest thing in the world, because I gotta stand around, pace around all the time. Half the time when you hear any sort of floor creaking, is me pacing around because I don't know how to stand still, because there's literally nowhere to sit down at, and I don't want to sit down on this dirty ass floor. It just is what it is, right? But at the very same time, I still, throughout all of this for the past 5 something years, I still don't mind it, right? Would like to have a better space, obviously, but I don't mind doing all this because I feel like this is worth it for sure. And to be real, I feel like this is parts of what I am meant to do, honestly, in life, right? Which I know sounds wild, and I understand that YouTube could very much just dip off the face of the earth just like that. But at the very same time, I love doing this. There is dead ass nothing else I kind of want to do more than this and my drawing and just writing stories. That's essentially the 3 things I just kind of want to continue to do, right? And with your support and obviously more people coming in, that's really pushing more into that dream that I can actually have, which is kind of crazy, So yeah, there's really a lot writing, I feel like, for myself on this channel, and why I've been so persistent to do as much as I can for this, as well as try to provide the content that I can in terms of what you guys would like to watch and new ideas, while also trying to keep the channel afloat too, right? Because again, YouTube does not like creativity, but I'll still be creative while still trying to play that game, because that's just how the system of YouTube works, unfortunately, right? And that's just how it is. And legitimately, there is still a fair amount of videos I have not done yet that you would think I would have already done, but I have not done yet. Like, for example, I haven't told you some of my favorite video games of all time. I haven't made a top 10 list of that either, which I have to really sit here and think about it. What top 10 video games have I played that slaps hard to tell? Like, there's games I have never mentioned on this channel before that I played that I thought were genuinely great, like Sonic Heroes and Sonic Unleashed, and there's like Gravity Rush 2, which I've spoken a little bit about. Kingdom Hearts obviously is a huge one for me, which I know the last 2 videos of Kingdom Hearts didn't do that well, because again, I never really spoke about it on this channel, so that's not all that surprising, right? And if I could speak about Cage a little bit more, I would, but I'm not going to sit here and do all that until Kingdom Hearts 4 ramp up some more stuff and hopefully show us something next month, but we'll have to see, you know. But something like Kingdom Hearts is like a hella big thing for me. Persona 5 was also like something that was really good. Final Fantasy 15 was amazing. 7 Rebirth and all that stuff. So there's that. Things even into the anime space, the same sort of kind of, I would say, scheme of video. I haven't said anything about like a top 10 favorite anime of all time. I know y'all know what my top 3 is. Medaka Box, DxD, and Fire Force. But then also there's things like, you know, Interspecies Reviewer. And you also kind of consider, you know, what about other stuff that I've seen in the past, like Data Live Season 1 and Kakaguri and stuff like that. Where does that stuff kind of fall down the list? So there's plenty of ideas I still haven't done that are very much the most basic of basic ideas ever, but I would like to do at some point one of these damn days. In fact, I was actually thinking about doing that literally today, but I just haven't really sat down and thought about it too damn much, you know. But that's just future stuff, just to kind of throw it out there, just in case anybody wants to, right? But yeah, I don't really know what else to kind of add to this conversation. But point is, I would say there's a lot of me that still hasn't been visualized within, you know, this channel and within, you know, just online, so you guys can know more about me in a way. Because there's still many things I have not said that I could say, and I just haven't had the time or a video to do so, because who would listen to that? Or at least that's my mentality when it comes down to certain things. And that's just kind of how it always been for me, I would say, you know. And I just want to make sure that whatever you watch on this channel, or whatever you get out of this channel, is something that's worth it, right? And I think that's like the biggest thing for me, because even something like in the merch of what we have in, you know, currently and previously and stuff like that, I don't want to give you a half-assed product. I want to give you something that's actually the best of my ability and give you something that matters, right? For example, I just put up 2 new merch things today, which is a small little, or at least there'll be different sizes, but I don't know how good it will come out though. There's like a Totsuki matte poster, like an MATTE, I believe, type of poster that you can go get now in different sizes. I don't know how good that's gonna come out to be though. I won't lie, because they say bad quality, but it looks fine to me, so who knows. I know the 8x10 is fine, but still 8x10, rather small though. And then I also did a Shion desk mat, which that for whatever reason isn't popping in the store, so you're gonna have to click the link in the description if you just want to see what that is, right? But ultimately, there's a lot of, you know, stuff of merch I would like to do. Hell, I would like to team up with somebody to kind of just do a merch thing, and that's something I also like to see in the future, like a YouTube's, or like, you know, I don't know, some cool ass merch store kind of come through and give me, you know, pitch me an idea of how we can do certain characters and whatever and things and sort like that. Like, I haven't still to this day given not a single shred of a J merch at all. It's kind of crazy. So there's still, again, plenty of goals I have not hit. We still got to hit 10K. That's still a thing. 5K is around the corner, but we still got to get there first. But my whole point is, though, I don't want to give this up, and I'm very much not going to. It is still my biggest priority in life right now. It is still the thing I care about the absolute most. And there's plenty of people I still would like to reach the level of or meet at some point in time, as well as to meet some of y'all too, because, you know, I know very much that y'all, for whatever reason, like me to a point in whatever and all that sort of stuff. So I would like to get to see y'all out there as well. Don't know how that will work, and, you know, kind of gonna be a bit shy about it, I'm not gonna lie, but, you know, I would like to see how that would go down, you know. And that's just kind of how it is, I'll really say. So overall, I would say everything. I'm really happy to just still be alive on this birthday. I'm grateful to God to be here still, to be, you know, not just alive, but in your guys' presence as well, for you guys to continue to watch me and support me and all that sort of stuff throughout thick and thin, and it's just been a good time. So here's to me being 24, and hopefully for more better birthdays to come and more doper shit to keep continue on this channel. So I guess that's really all I got. So hopefully he did enjoy. If he did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on everyone else. Also follow my socials, and if you'd like to donate to the channel. And until then, it's your boy Jay, signing off. And thank you guys again for just being here. Have a blessed day.